Ubisoft, what are you thinking? Anytime I see your name on any news site, on any YouTube video, anything, it is something that you have done badly. And yes, I understand a lot of people, including myself, have come out and kind of dogpiled on Ubisoft over and over and over again, but this is for good reason, because they continue to make bad decisions where you're left thinking, who is this for, why did they do this, and why are they consistently trying to tank their company in the midst of more controversy than they have ever been in the last 10 years. And that's saying a lot, because they have consistently been in controversy for the last 10 years for making bad and mediocre games. But guess what? The one good game, the most critically acclaimed game they have ever made in probably the last decade, probably since Rainbow Six Siege, which came out I think in 2014. The best game that they have made, which is Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, disbanding the entire team. They're disbanding the entire team. Goodbye. And before I get into this in full and break down pretty much all of the reasons why this is an absolutely dumb, stupid decision from Ubisoft yet again, you guys have been amazing supporting me. I really appreciate it. We're almost at 400 subscribers. My goal is to get there by the end of this week, so thank you guys so much for the support. If you like gaming news, if you like gaming reviews, specifically with RPGs, action adventures, and games like that, and you like what you see here, please subscribe. It helps me out a lot. Now, let's get into this video. So getting into the article here, this is on Digital Trends. It's been posted on many other news outlets. YouTubers have talked about this as well. This was just posted earlier this morning by Carly Veloci. I know how to pronounce that. I did 2 years of Italian in high school. Ubisoft confirms that Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown team is moving on to new games. And by reading this, you might think, oh my god, the entire team is moving on and making new video games because they already made a really good one, right? No. Absolutely not, because getting into the first paragraph here, Ubisoft has confirmed that most of the Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown team has been moved on to other projects following a report claiming it has been disbanded. A video posted by video game outlet Origami on Monday said that Ubisoft was disappointed in sales of the Prince of Persia Metroidvania. Keep that in your mind right there. It had moved to the team at Ubisoft Montpellier, I think that's how you pronounce it, I apologize, I don't know how to read that shit, to other projects. The team had reportedly tried to pitch a sequel or a more sizable expansion, but Ubisoft wanted to focus on projects with better sales potential. So if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense to Ubisoft, and a lot of these companies, let's be honest. Here's my problem with this, initially. Remember when I said, pay attention to this Metroidvania right here? It's because, yes, they released a Metroidvania, not an open world, open-ended, giant game with the Assassin's Creed franchise, not a Splinter Cell game, none of that. They released a Prince of Persia Metroidvania. And not only did they release the game as a Metroidvania, they released it at $60. And this is Ubisoft's fault, not the developer's fault. A full price AAA game price for a Metroidvania that had nowhere near the amount of time to complete it than some of these other giant games. So just off the bat, do you think you're going to get the same profit from a Prince of Persia Metroidvania released for $60 than you would for some of your other games? You're not going to get that same thing from this game. And the bad decisions you made by not putting this at $30 or $40 was a big reason you are not receiving the profit that you wanted to from this game. Also, I don't know why you even thought you would receive the same profit from this game that you would from some of your other properties. It just doesn't even make sense. And on top of this, then they disband them because they don't care if they make a good game, they care if they make money on a game. And over time, we've seen this with their stock prices, we've seen this whole thing on how it has impacted Ubisoft as a whole, as a company, as a workplace, and their workplace culture. It has been tanking them and is continuing to tank them because of these bad decisions that they're making. And also another thing I want to talk about. The team tried to pitch a sequel or more sizable expansion. Why would you not say, okay, instead of doing maybe a sequel or a more sizable expansion, let's put this team on another game, maybe not a huge open world game like we know Ubisoft makes, but just another game in general, so we can keep this team that worked really well together, that developed a really, really solid, good game with good reviews that pretty much everybody that played liked for the most part. Let's use this team to make a new game for us, maybe not a Metroidvania because that didn't have the same profit, or maybe something that was similar, but we don't release it for $60. Instead of doing that, just disbanding it, we're going to make all of these people go and work on our other properties that we've already completely messed up. Let's just use all of the developers that did a good job and just try to make them, save all of our other properties, even though we have game directors that are shitting the bed on all of the other games that we're currently creating right now. Going further into this article, in a statement to Digital Trends, the Lost Crown senior producer, I am not even going to try to say this, confirmed some of the details, including that most of the team has been moved on to other projects that will benefit from their expertise, and that there wouldn't be any more content updates, but that Ubisoft isn't done with Prince of Persia just yet. So, if you're not done with Prince of Persia, why are you disbanding this team? It just doesn't even make sense to me. You're going to put another team, a new team, onto the Prince of Persia games potentially, or a new Prince of Persia game, but not this one? And you're just going to disband this team that worked well together and gelled together and move them onto other projects? Which I guess is a kind of good thing, because their expertise in one game might translate over and help another game that they're currently making. But here's the thing, it's not like somebody from this project's going to go over and be a game director for the Assassin's Creed game. They're just going to go into the same flow, and it's going to cause the same issues that they're already dealing with their other games, in my opinion. And honestly, it might help, who knows? I just don't think it will. Going further into the article, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is now at the end of its post-launch roadmap with 3 free content updates and 1 DLC that released in September. We are now focusing on making the game available to more players. It was recently launched on Steam and will be available on Mac by this winter. It should have been on Steam to begin with, but honestly, the one thing Ubisoft has done good, which I think this article talks about a little bit later, is them actually releasing their games on Steam day one, upcoming games. Most of the team members who worked on Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown have shifted to other projects that will benefit from their expertise. We just read that. While Ubisoft couldn't confirm that what projects the producer alluded to, Insider Gaming claims workers were shifted to Beyond Good and Evil 2, a mainline Ghost Recon, and a Rayman remake. So they're not going on Assassin's Creed. That's very interesting. So maybe this is a relatively good decision to move these people onto those games if they've seen those games being created and not looking very good. Who 100% knows? Going further into this article and into the last paragraph here, it's a tumultuous time for the studio. Absolutely is. Ubisoft announced it was delaying the Assassin's Creed Shadows game from November to February 14, 2025 to give the developers more time to polish and refine the experience. Oh lord. It definitely needs it though. This was a sizable last-minute delay, probably not sizable enough. And in a statement to investors, the company also said that due to weaker than expected sales of Star Wars Outlaws, yep, it had to make some changes to its business model by, I guess, disbanding the team that actually made a good game. It announced it was removing the season pass and having games launch on Steam on the day of their release. This was the thing I just talked about that was good. This was actually good. And then the CEO also announced that Ubisoft will be launching an internal review to align the companies based on player feedback. Wow, this is also big. This is also huge. This is a good thing. This is a good thing, Ubisoft. This is a very, very good thing. What will it end up being like? I don't know, but I know this is stuff that the shareholders were begging for. Since then, Star Wars Outlaws has gotten a new roadmap to focus on bug fixes and quality of life improvements. The game's cooked. It also dropped the price of the Assassin's Creed Shadows Collector Edition by $50 to make up for the canceled season pass. Also, very good. However, I do want to say, for anyone that's very happy about this, that they're getting rid of the season pass, there's something you have to know, and I covered this in my last video about Ubisoft. Assassin's Creed, the Animus Hub, the new quote-unquote Call of Duty HQ that is potentially leaked for Assassin's Creed games in the future, that potentially might release with Assassin's Creed Shadows, has something called synchronization, which is basically a season pass, and there's monetization within that. So they might be getting rid of this season pass, but I guarantee you, if the leaks were true, there's going to be more microtransactions and season pass like content thrown into the Assassin's Creed franchise. So overall, this just really bums me out, man. The good news is they weren't laid off. They are and still do have their jobs and are moving on to other projects. The good news is Assassin's Creed and other upcoming Ubisoft games will be released on Steam day one, and they have made a couple good decisions there, I guess, with the season pass as well. But overall, you finally do one or two things to get into the good graces of your consumers a tiny bit, 1% more, and then you make this decision again, which is just, in my opinion, very shocking. And overall, they are just a tanking company that I don't think has the right leadership right now or the right workplace culture to get out of the hole that they have dug themselves into. And I hope I'm wrong. I don't want to see any companies fail. I don't want to see any games come out, be bad, and not make money. I want every game that comes out to be a masterpiece. That just is not the case with Ubisoft. It's not even close to the case with Ubisoft. And I want to see a new game by this team, or a sequel, or something more sizable than The Lost Crown, because they did such a good job on that video game. I think they should be rewarded for that. But we saw a very similar thing with Hi-Fi Rush. A very good game. Everybody that played it loved it. What did Xbox do to them? And yeah, just let me know what you guys think about this video. Let me know what you guys think about The Lost Crown. Did you play The Lost Crown? I would love to see your guys' comments down below about that. Like this video if you like the video, and subscribe for more content like this. Hopefully I'm not making another Ubisoft bad video and I can talk about some of the good things that they're doing. But we'll have to see. Appreciate you guys. Peace!